Welcome to the Fort Mill Town Council regular meeting for May the 9th. Thank you all for being here. If you're joining us here in our audience, please silence your devices so that we can give you our full attention and you ours. With that, we will stand for our Pledge of Allegiance, and then Ronnie will give us our invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for another beautiful day you've given us. We thank you for many blessings of life. We pray that you be with us tonight. Give us the wisdom to conduct the town's business. We give you the praise and honor and glory for it all. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Council members, you have received the minutes of the April 22nd special called council meeting and the minutes for the April 25th town council meeting. Are there any changes, deletions, or additions?
So hearing now, I move to approve.
Have a motion to approve?
I'll second it.
I have a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Thank you so much. Public comment pursuant to Section 2-46 of the Code of Ordinances for the Town of Fort Mill. Any citizen of the town may appear before council for the purpose of providing public comments on any municipal matter except personnel matters. Those who wish to speak must sign in outside of council chambers prior to the start of the meeting. Citizens will be given 3 minutes each to speak. Davey, do we have anyone signed in?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Thank you very much. Then we'll move immediately to presentations. Presentation number 1, Fort Mill Hometown Recognition Ceremony Review. Davey Broom.
Thank you, Mayor. After a full month of events and planning and a couple of months of planning, several months of planning for the Strawberry Festival, and all of the events that have taken place over the last month, our public relations and events coordinator has taken some time off of work today, and it's much needed, so you get the presentation from me tonight. I will try to live up to their presentation skills. Mayor, this is an event, the Fort Mill Hometown Recognition Ceremony took place on Thursday, April 21st at the Fort Mill Amphitheater in Walter Wildlife Park. I have to say, Fort Mill is a wonderful town to live, play, and work. And an event such as this just helps provide the hometown feeling that we're wanting to share with the entire community. It was a terrific day weather-wise, and I'd just like to highlight a portion of the event for the viewers that watch our public access channel that can see this over the next month, that were unable to participate or attend that event because it was such a terrific event. We just want to share some highlights from that. So, Chris, next. I will say planning efforts for this event was, all of it came together between Fort Mill town staff, Fort Mill School District staff, as well as House Representative Ray Felder and her staff. We all got together and combined our ideas on how we can make this presentation work. And so the speakers for the event, as you can see in the photos here, our very own Mayor Savage provided comments. South Carolina House Representative Ray Felder provided comments as well. And we were also present by the Honorable Governor Henry McMaster. And in this photo, you can see he is presenting an award to our very own retired Police Chief Jeff Helms of 27 years. Others taking part in this overall event included the Nation Ford High School JROTC Marine Corps, as well as band members from all of our Fort Mill high schools. Again, it was a terrific presentation. I'd like to, you can see it was there at our amphitheater. It's a beautiful venue for this event. And I'd like to read the award winners that that was presented that day. So Olivia Corby was our 4A Girls State Swim Championship and 200-yard freestyle state swim champion. Our Nation Forward High School band won the 4A state champions, and our Nation Forward High School girls swim team were the 5A state swim team champions in the 200-yard relay. Nation Forward High School Marine Corps JROTC were national champions as well. Our Fort Mill High School band, U.S. Bands Southeastern States Championship. Fort Mill High School cross country team won the 5A state championship. Catawba Ridge High School marching band won the 3A state championship. Catawba Ridge High School Sam Rich State Championship cross country. They were the winners of that event. And then our Fort Mill All-Stars, the Dixie Youth World Series champions that brought home the World Series trophy back last summer. We brought them out and awarded them, presented them an award at this event as well. And last but certainly not least was the Order of the Palmetto was presented to our retired police chief, Jeff Helms, of 27 years. And that the Order of the Palmetto is the highest honor bestowed upon citizens of South Carolina. And so he was very moved by that presentation, and again, it was presented to him by our governor. So it was an overall fun day. It shone a positive light on the town of Fort Mill, and if you look at all of the champions we have here, these aren't regional champions. These are state and national champions. So Fort Mill, I would say, had a banner year for championships. So, Mayor, with that, that's the presentation on that event. Again, it was a wonderful event. We appreciate all of our town council being there in support of this event.
And I'd like to say, too, that the amphitheater was absolutely beautiful for this type of event. I did speak with Ray. Typically, to get an award like this, our folks would have to drive down to Columbia and be presented this at the State House. And it's very difficult because you're weaving your way through other recipients. And, you know, it doesn't give you that same feel of getting that recognition in front of your hometown. So talk to her a little bit, and I think we're going to try to do this every year. They bring it here, and let's talk to and let the people of Fort Mill see the achievements of our neighbors. And I think it was one of the proudest moments I've had to stand in that park and to see so many wonderful achievements within Fort Mill. It's a beautiful place to live, and I was so proud of everyone that day. It was just a great day, so thank you.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think it's fitting, too, to know that Chief Helms, while we acknowledged him because of his service that he's done here for the town, in addition, he's put in countless hours, he and his family, Melissa too, volunteering as a coach for many, many sports throughout the years that I have known him. So it's interesting that on the same day we're awarding a lot of state champions, that he also has won some state championships as a coach before too, and is very active in the athletic programs of Fort Mill, making it what it is today. The other part, I just want to be sure we called out appropriately. Sam Rich on there was listed Catawba Ridge, and then it was kind of like Sam Rich State High School. Sam Rich is the person.
Okay.
He individually won the state championship, so just making sure everybody knows that he individually won that state championship for cross country and is getting a lot of attention and will be at the collegiate level.
He's going to Notre Dame.
Yes.
His father is the minister at Unity Presbyterian. He's our preacher, and his list of awards are this deep. He's incredible.
Yeah.
He set a record too, wasn't he?
Yeah,
And that
he's
was
somebody to watch.
And he's a national record, wasn't he? Yeah.
What a
So
great
it was,
young
It was
man.
very. I mean, the whole thing was very impressive, but
Yeah.
that on the individual is very.
Yeah.
It's very
It's wonderful. So I'm hopeful that we will be able to do this, and maybe be able to do it on a Saturday morning when more of our community would be able to attend, so that it's not, as limited on the work day.
Right.
But we will work as hard as we can to make sure that it becomes a standard for Fort Mill. So great work. Thank you. Presentation number 2, Strawberry Festival Review. Again, Davey.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Sacramento Strawberry Festival, we just recently finished that up, wrapped it up. It took place this past Saturday, May 7th. We had to delay the start of the festival due to, at the time, the weather projections were for severe weather. Town staff met with York County Emergency Management on multiple meetings leading up to this event. The weather forecast was, it was sketchy all week long, and then the day before, we started meeting with York County Emergency Management and National Weather Service to try to determine how we were going to move forward with the event. Unfortunately, the weather did not cooperate with us, and we needed to delay the start of the event for safety purposes. It turned out it was a pretty good decision based on we had inclement weather all around Fort Mill, and there was some hail in the Rock Hill and some Fort Mill area, as well as a tornado that rolled through the county. But at any time, weather can move a few miles north or south, and it could cause a lot of confusion and a lot of danger. So we delayed the start of the event until Saturday morning, and I'm happy to say that it turned out just great. The start of the festival, we worked with all of the food vendors, arts and crafts vendors, and the setup. So it began 5 a.m. Saturday morning, and all of the vendors were terrific. They came in when we asked them to. They lined up, got them into the field. They put up their station or their tent. And what takes them a good portion of a Friday on a normal event, they did in just a matter of a few hours on Saturday morning. So we were very proud of the work that they put into it. By 10 a.m., everybody was ready to go. And so that was a good partnership between the town and our vendors across the board. The festival opening ceremony took place on the amphitheater stage at noon with Mayor Savage and all of our town council members. Also in attendance was our assistant town manager, Chris Pettit, and myself. We had Strawberry Queens, House Representative Ray Felder, and of course, Barry, our mascot. It was a really good way to kick off the event. By that time, there was quite a few people in the field, so it was a good crowd to speak to. Next on the slide, we certainly couldn't do this without our partners at the Springs Farms providing their delicious strawberries. And on the next slide, if you can see, during the day, the weather really was terrific. It never got too cold, never got too hot. It was cloudy all day, but our public safety staff monitored storms that rolled through the area. They skirted by Fort Mill all day long. You could see them, you could feel the coolness off of the rain storms, but I think we had about a total of 3 minutes of drizzle for the entire day. So it worked out really well in our favor. Every event was successful, from the car show to the music acts to the ice cream and cupcake eating contest, just to name a few. You can see in these photos, you've got our Strawberry Queens getting out and meeting the public. And it was a really big time. Next slide is a photo from the town's drone. Now this photo was taken earlier in the day, so this was before the crowds really built. But you could see that from the amphitheater out, it was attended really well. We anticipate or estimate really about anywhere from 20 to 25,000 participants throughout the day. In years past, we've had, with the event, especially on Saturday, you would see for an hour or two, the field would be really full, and then it would kind of go away for an hour, and then it'd fill back up for a couple hours and go away. I will say all day Saturday, the field stayed consistently full all day long. So, and I personally was able to work one of the entrances with the golf cart that was shuttling senior citizens or anyone with ADA issues to their cars if they couldn't make it, if they couldn't walk any further. So while I was there, as crowds would leave, they were being passed with crowds coming through the gate. So it was a really steady stream throughout the day. So it was a huge success for that. Next slide. After a full day of the event, we wrapped up the day with a beautiful firework display, and this is one of the best photos we came up with.
It's beautiful.
And so it was just a terrific day of family, music, food, rides, and crafts, and you couldn't ask for much more than that. I would like to personally thank town staff and the volunteers for their efforts in making this event a huge success. Town staff, we had staff members from our public relations and events, police, fire, public works, parks and recreation, planning, finance and business office, our human resources and procurement, utilities, building, our information technology, and of course, our town council members. We appreciate the support in this event and your efforts in helping pull this event off. Mayor, I have to say this is in my opinion, this is a quality of life element that, again, provides that hometown feel that we so desperately look for and strive for in the town of Fort Mill. And I'm just really proud of everyone that had their part in making this just a terrific day for Fort Mill.
Well, I personally think it was one of the better events, one of the better strawberry festivals. You're right, it was steady state the entire day. We didn't see a lot of fluctuation in the number of people, but there was a good changeover. I personally want to thank staff myself because they bend over backwards. It's always so clean, and always every staff member I spoke to, do you need anything? No, we're good, we're good. Lisa worked all day, Chris worked all day in volunteer positions. I saw all of staff, I think you were working elsewhere, but it was truly one of the better events. I was very pleased with how the amphitheater anchors the park during that event. Oh, it was so much better than looking at a trailer we pull in and set up on. It was just a beautiful, beautiful event. The pad out in front of the amphitheater where the children danced and our regular dancers were. It was.
There were not some children out there too.
That front concrete was packed when the boy band
It was. It was. So many people were comfortable, and I really liked that part. It was a comfortable day. I still didn't get that funnel cake. There were 50 people in line for that funnel cake. So that was.
Brick and mortar bathrooms were nice to have.
Oh,
this
brick and
year,
mortar
too.
bathrooms were awesome. And the police, the sheriff's department, our own staff, goodness gracious, how much better could it have gotten to have the flow of traffic was excellent, and everyone was so pleasant, and just I'm just amazed at how well it went.
Yes,
It was just wonderful. Council, you have.
Yeah, I'd like to acknowledge the staff and the planning and the committee that did it. Through working I worked 3 different volunteer stations, and gave me a great opportunity to meet with a lot of people. I also saw the staff respond as I walked around. There was a minor emergency. Someone had a health issue. An EMT was there in less than a minute because I was trying to read my card on what to do, and before I looked up, Brown and an EMT was standing there helping that citizen. One story I'd like to pass along, there's a new couple that's moved to town the last couple of years, and got to know them through various means, and they walked up, and one of them's had an opportunity to move to Colorado to take a better job and be in the mountains and all that. And they, the Strawberry Festival didn't go one day, it went 1 week, and so it was a great week, not just that highlight. But they came up to me and said, I've got this offer, this is a better job, and this, but how can I leave this?
Right.
Wow.
And he said, I just can't believe this town. And I said, well, it's your hometown, get involved and make it. But that's that quality. I mean, he was like, how can I leave this and they were just astounded by all the stuff going on. So there again, that was about the highest praise I can think of. That's what we shoot for, and thanks for everybody who made it happen.
And I think Barry went on a diet.
He
Slim down.
Very good.
did well for
Yeah,
Mary.
Bud.
He
Let's
went
start
on-
calling
he
him
went on a
Bud.
diet. And Mayor, you know, in Fort Mill, we pride ourselves on our relationships with our citizens, our staff, our business community. And we certainly couldn't pull off this event without our sponsors for this event. Each and every one of them pitched in to help with this. The next slide are event host partners. Again, like Councilman Wolf said, it was a week-long event, so we had events at each one of these locations, and we certainly appreciate the partnerships we have with them. And again, speaking of the planning, the Strawberry Festival Committee, these are the committee members that spent months. I think they started back in October, November time frame, and we're meeting monthly to pull all of this off. So it was a team effort among many, and we're very proud of each and every one of them and appreciate them for that.
I had a couple of things I was thinking there. A special thanks in my mind to all the businesses and churches and things like that were accommodating for the parking that allowed everybody to be able to gather and make their way over to the Strawberry Festival, the schools, the churches in the Springs. I know Chris and I were parking cars at the crack of dawn that morning, and had a gentleman come through, and we had touched on it right before we started the meeting. There was more people with cash than what I thought. And this gentleman came through, and he said he had this discouraged look on his face, and he said, "What do you guys do?" He said, "I don't have any cash." I said, and he said, "What am I going to do?" I said, "You're going to go up here and find a parking place." And he said, "Well, what about, I said, "Look, it's okay." I said, "If you find your way in there and you make a transaction and you have $5 to bring back, then come back and do us a solid. But otherwise, enjoy the day." And the look on his face was priceless. He said, "Wow, the honor system?" I said, "Yeah, you're small town, man. You're in Fort Mill now." He's like, "Wow." He was just literally dumbfounded. He said, "I promise I'll be back." And he said, "No." And he stuck his hand out the window. He said, I promise, I will be back and bring that $5. Hey, that's fine. You know, have a great day." But that was neat. I enjoyed the interaction with the people and seeing the kids and all. But one of the things I was thinking about for those that might be listening, I know there was a little bit of criticism about making the decision a day early. And so I know it's more than just people getting their heads wet with rain. It was a matter of, you know, safety. What do those people do? You know, if you've got 5,000 people there, for example, you know, and you do have bad weather coming through, there's no shelter. There's, you know, threats for lightning. And you may be able to shed some light on some other factors that come into that.
That's correct. You know, it's the safety of of anyone, that the attendance is it's an obvious issue, but you know, we had well over 130 vendors, and I believe that number is higher. I don't think that includes the food vendors, but when the vendors are setting up tents, and the probability or the projected weather alert stated there's high winds of up to 30 miles an hour that were probable. That's where you bring that safety aspect into it, not only rain and storms, but when the wind blows and picks those tents up, it could cause pretty good damage. And so
That wind went through South Park.
Yes.
In Charlotte. It missed us, but it hit South Park.
Right. And but you know, the timing of, if you think if it's just only 130 vendors, which I think it was more, just reaching out and contacting them in plenty of time, because they were scheduled to come in on Friday morning and set up,
Right.
you know, early as 7 a.m. So, you know, we had to make a decision, the best decision possible at the time on Thursday evening to determine how we were going to move forward, and we felt solid in that decision, and fortunately, the worst of the storms missed us. That's what we always hope for.
But you have to plan for.
You have to plan for that.
Right.
We were fortunate because we did not get the heavy rains that could have come through, so the field held up well. When the vendors did come in the next morning, it did not do damage to the grass. So it worked out really well in our favor this year. And, we've been very fortunate this is our 13th year, and we only had to end the festival early once, and that was in 2019, and that was due to thunderstorms. So we were due to run into some inclement weather at some point, but the way it turned out with Saturday being a banner year, it's hard to argue against that.
It was just a lot of due diligence in winning that decision, so thank you guys for
And
doing that.
it was the right decision.
Yes,
It
sir.
definitely was.
Good job getting the communication
Yes,
out, because I
absolutely.
saw it not only on social media from the town, it got shared by a lot of people trying to get the word out there and help, as well as on many of the news stations, so.
Radio, news station.
And that didn't happen without a lot of effort
Right.
on the part of Davey and his staff. They were here till after 11, getting not just the social media and the news release and the press involved, but they made phone calls to make sure every vendor was contacted and had the opportunity to avoid setting up
great.
for Friday night. So it just was a collective effort that shouldn't go unrecognized.
Something
So
to be proud
thank
of.
you
Thank
so
you, sure.
much. Thank
Great
you
job.
so much.
Top-notch event.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, there are no old business items. New business item number 1, first reading. An ordinance annexing a portion of York County Tax Map number 737000074 and containing approximately plus or minus 1.03 acres. Penelope is our subject matter expert. Tell
Good
us what you
evening.
got to tell us, Miss Penelope.
This is annexation for a portion of York County, 737000074, containing about 1.03 acres. So Mr. Kuster is the applicant. We're the existing shopping center that is in the town limits. We're Anytime Fitness. Right next door is the house. On the back portion of this house is where the septic tank is for the actual shopping center. So the request for the annexation is to add the back portion to that parcel that's already in the town. So the annexation would be with the rezoning of highway commercial. And there's no plans for any additional buildings or parking at this location. This is just basically to have the commercial septic field all on one parcel. We went to the Planning Commission. They recommended approval, and it was a vote by 6-0. Staff is in support of this annexation with rezoning to highway commercial. And the applicant is here if you have any questions for him.
Council, any questions?
Is the house in front of that in the county?
It will remain in the county, and in the county, it's zoned neighborhood commercial.
And the applicant does not own that house?
Yeah, he does. He will still remain
You do own that house?
in the county.
So at some point in time, that will probably be, that's not before us, but that would explain why we're dealing with the property on the back.
And the property to the right of it and left, I'm seeing on, I think it's slide 3 or 4, the RSF zoning. What's the zoning around it?
On the right side, it's the York County residential
Okay.
of zoning. On the left side of this diagram that you see is the actual shopping center that's in the town limits, and it's zone highway commercial. And so again, there's no buildings, nothing's changing. It's just, it makes sense to have the commercial septic field on the same parcel. And he will be doing a recombination, but as you all know, York County, we can't do that recombination plat until it gets annexed and rezoned.
Any further questions? This again is our first reading.
And the public hearing will be at the next council meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion to approve and second. Any further questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
New business item number 2, Town of Fort Mill Town Christmas Tree Purchase, Philip Aycock. Hi, Philip.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I just wanted to give you a little bit of the background history behind this. This is a budgeted line item for this year's budget. It's $67,000. This is a 42-foot Christmas tree, an 8-foot star that goes on top of that. We were able to actually go through the RFP process, which is near and dear to my heart in procurement. So we go through the process, and we actually had 2 vendors. And just for information's sake, we always put that on our town website along with SCIBO. It's the South Carolina Business Opportunities. So it's a great platform because it puts it out to not only just our community, but it puts it really to South Carolina and out the country and then internationally also. So it's always a cool thing to see when you cast that net exactly what you can pull back in. So it's a really cool process to do that. But we were able to get 2 bids for this. The bid is from Universal Concepts, and they were the lowest bidder in this process. It was for $62,996, and that of course is with freight and sales tax. This purchase that would happen, it actually is the same company that our current Christmas tree that we have. It'll look very similar. Size-wise is the difference. The star is 2 foot additionally higher, and it's a panel Christmas tree. So it has a built-in ladder, so the staff, if they need to fix anything during that. So we have this just before you for your approval, and if you have any questions.
I think it's important to tell them where it's going.
This will go, yes, this will, from what I understand, it will live over in Walter Elijah Park, and so it'll be there during the holiday season.
So this is an additional tree, not a replacement, okay? That was gonna be one of my questions.
Oh,
What's
sorry,
the
I'm
warranty? I see it's a commercial tree.
It is commercial grade, so that's what we're looking for. They actually have I believe it's a 10-year warranty on that.
And what's the
and that-
livelihood of how long do we envision, how long should it last?
How long it should last? Usually they can last 20 to 30 years
Okay.
is the timeline. It's
Longer
built
than the
in
live
Georgia.
Oh, well, yeah,
It's courthouse handle.
well, absolutely.
It is from Georgia.
It is. It's built in Georgia, and so it'll be delivered. I'm very particular when it comes to freight, especially with the supply chain. You hear that word over and over again, but with the supply chain, it's important. So there's actually no delays on that. So if we place order, we can have that within the next 2 months.
Isn't that great? We can get a Christmas tree, but ladies can't get formula for their kids because of supply chain.
Doesn't come from Georgia, though.
Yeah, right.
Where will we be storing this? I know.
Yeah, I was wondering.
That was the next question.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of room, is what I've been told by staff. So where will we be keeping this?
Exactly, there are
I mean,
ideas.
Kuchler's got some extra storage spots somewhere,
Yes.
I'm sure. but-
We could put it on that lot we just annexed, right?
We do keep our current tree stored at the Public Works facility, and if we cannot make it, keep the 2 together, then we will be looking for a storage facility area option, yeah. The good thing about this company, I will say, is should a portion be damaged, because it comes in sections, they're just right down the road in Georgia, and we can replace any particular section at any time. So it's the life expectancy of these trees is very long. We probably would change out. The decorations are pre-built, and you can buy those in panels as well. So we would probably be changing those out more frequently than the steel or the heavy-duty aluminum casing itself. So the one we have we've had it for 3 years now, I believe, and at least, and we put it together fairly easy, and it's good and sturdy, and it's been a really nice addition to the downtown area. So by using this new tree, we're looking to tie our Walter Y. Elisha Park with our downtown area, and it's a natural fit, in my opinion.
So we think we'll move like the things that we've been doing at the current tree to the park area, possibly in the future.
Maybe.
Okay.
We could save a little freight. Alan could take his truck to Chris's trailer.
Always looking for a deal.
But we're looking, obviously, you're the VAT, but we're looking for a value. We're not looking for the best price, we're looking for a value. That's why,
Exactly.
even if we pay more, get a commercial tree, it'll last longer, and overall it's cheap. And that's one thing we want to make sure is the best value for the taxpayers' money. So it's,
And it's a fairly local company too, about as local as you're going to get these
For
days. So
that.
that's a big deal.
yeah, it's great. Good job.
Thanks for doing all the
You
homework.
got any pictures for us? Love to see it.
Well,
If you drive to Georgia and bring it back,
Drive to
we'll let
Georgia.
you see it.
exactly.
Do we need to vote on this? No?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Just because of
Well,
the
Barry's
price.
saying no and you're saying yeah.
Well, It is, it's a budgeted item, and
Yeah.
you don't have to. We brought it for you just because of the price.
I'm grateful, and Philip, I can't begin to tell you how much easier I feel about our purchases since you've been in your role.
Thank
The effort that you put forth is
The due
so
diligence,
appreciated.
yes.
The diligence, you're perfectionist about getting everything just right, and it benefits every taxpayer in this town, so thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. I think you've got the next one too. New business item number 3, approval of long-range facilities plan.
We were very fortunate last month, for the last meeting. We had Mr. Jim Britton, he's with Lightner Construction. We also had Mr. Ryan Doherty, he's with Progressive AE, with the architecture and engineering firm. And they've created a partnership to come in together to do our facility assessment, our long-range need plan. And we're bringing this information before you for a vote to move forward with the actual purchase. One question that I had for you when it concerns is the community engagement portion. That was something that I wanted to know direction-wise. Do we move in that direction with the price, or do we continue with
And define what you mean by community engagement option.
The community engagement? They showed the portion where they would do the forums, they would come together and do group sections, they would do maybe some online blast of some sort. They have the information. It wasn't originally in the RFQ written that way, and so I just wanted to make sure in the right direction that you guys wanted to move forward with
From
that.
what they described, Philip, in our last council meeting, I know it's more than what we had planned on, but I think from what you said a few minutes ago, Chris, I agree. It's quality versus quantity. And I do think the survey mechanism is important. We've been talking about surveying our community on a number of things for a number of years. It takes a professional to really get the right information in the right format and then interpret that when it comes back in. So I, for one, and I speak for myself only, my fellow council members can speak for themselves, but I personally think we should, if we're going to be spending this much money, let's get it right.
I agree 100%, and I'm speaking for myself, but there again, also the community wants to buy in on it. This is a long-range plan. And there's talking about athletic facilities, YMCA, the community center, a lot of things other than just brick and mortar. And I feel we'd be doing injustice not to have them involved.
It's heavy lifting that we don't have the staff to do. And I think if we can, I was really impressed with them coming together and do a partnership. I think Fort Mill might become a hallmark area for partnershiping. We're doing a really good job of that. In the last several years, we've found a way to partner and make better for the town. This also is a great opportunity for us to get the wealth of both companies into this plan for council to use as a tool in our own determination on what next steps we take.
Now, Philip, is this the Philip discount you've already got built into this?
Well,
I mean, I've been hearing great things, so I mean, we need to make sure that you're,
I always look for those cooperative purchasing programs, and I'm not ashamed to ask for a coupon.
so coupons will be accepted, but I think it's a great opportunity. There's a lot of work we know that needs to come out of this, and we need the numbers and the facts to help us guide our long-term decisions. So, but I'm definitely for having the community involved.
I think it's important to have that too. I think it's also important to stress that not everybody's going to be on the same page when it comes to the community's input as to what they gauge as being important, but at least we'll be able to get a majority and be able to determine from the people that are in the town what they're expecting or what they would need to be, and get that feedback. I think it would be a great thing. I'm with you. If we're going to do this, let's do it right.
Speak.
I've had a chance. You usually tell me to shut up, so I'm letting them. I mean, I don't mind community engagement. I don't want it to slow us down. I don't want it to keep them from moving ahead on a lot of this. In my opinion, a lot of the projects that they will be reviewing, a public works facility, most of the community doesn't even know where public works is. So they're not going to have that on their list of a top priority the way we would. Nope. However, I do think there are some of the more prominent items that definitely could use some community involvement, whether it's just a survey or whether it's bringing together a focus group, I'm not real sure. Maybe one of our committees, our facilities committee or one of the groups could help vet that a little bit more and define it more before we just go into the way they did it before. Because I think it's overkill on some things. A fire station, yes, safety comes first. Police station, that's going to come first. So I just would like to have some involvement.
Involvement, I want to make sure I say this properly. I think the involvement that we should have is the people buying the service and buying the product. I don't disagree with you.
Yes.
But the involvement we have would be to help provide the input on the front end and as the process takes place on how we want to see it implemented.
Correct.
Instead of us just saying, yes, go do it, I do think we need to have some input on the things like the Public Works facility. As far as actually participating, we are buying a service, so we're going to have to be hands-off in some ways so that we don't hinder their progress.
Agree.
We don't all agree on everything half the time, so it's something that we're going to have to manage ourselves so that we do not hinder that process. I don't want to do that. So I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying with guarded optimism that we participate and we give them the parameters that we would like as they are going to be employed by us. I know these folks fairly well. Their reputation speaks for themselves. They're excellent people to be working with. So I feel like they understand this process and can guide us on, some of the ideas on how to move forward with this project.
Well, and I think we'll have input along in the process as well outside of this community engagement option.
That's
And
great.
what I've understood in the
They'll
past-
actually interview you, town
Right.
staff.
He
town-
talked about it last time, and I will say, Ben and I come from the planning group, and a lot of I've been involved in a couple of the 20-year plans and stuff, which would bring in citizens from different, a builder, a home, a teacher, we get feedback, and I think that's really important, because you get a buy-in from the community, as opposed to something just being delegated. So, they presented at the last meeting, I thought was a great opportunity, and we know we need some help here, so,
Well, it's like any other project, any other business we're hiring, they're consultants. And if you've been in this business, consultant brings ideas to you, we still make those decisions. So it will still require that we are active in taking what's presented to us and making the decisions on what's right for the town.
I think it's desperately needed. I mean, they're going to give us a baseline on all of our buildings, where we stand now, what we're going to need, short-term, long-term, everything. So I know both of them, and, their reputation speaks for themselves, and can't wait to get started on it.
So
So first reading will be, go ahead.
I'm looking for a motion.
Yeah. I'll make a motion
What are you making a motion for?
to move forward with it.
With how much? Yeah, I'm being rude.
Are you clear?
He asked, do we want the expanded version? So we're going to have to word it properly, right,
Yes.
Barry?
Yeah, I say so.
Thank you. See that guy with the cross stars?
He'll keep it straight.
I pay attention to what he's thinking. We need that motion to be very specific,
Okay,
and I'm
yeah.
not telling you
No,
how to
no,
make
yeah.
the motion, but I need to hear those words so that we vote on the right, what you're thinking.
Well, with how everything's broken down, I make a motion that we proceed with the full package, I guess.
Is that good enough, Barry? Thank you. Thank you, Alan. I just like
Second.
him to stay smiling. Good?
Second.
And I got a second. All right. Any further questions?
No.
The motion on the table is to approve, to move forward with the full project as was offered, and we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Thank you. And that was not a nay for me. I'm just the person that has to ask that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Business item number 4, amendment of agreement to fund municipal court attorney for 2022-23 fiscal year. Davy Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. For our new members on council, or the newest members, this is time of the year I typically come to you to bring information about funding for a York County municipal attorney. And what that is, State of South Carolina has a law that if a municipality has or elects to have an optional municipal court system, it must provide adequate funds for representation of indigents. And so in York County, the 16th Circuit's Public Defenders provides that for the municipalities in South Carolina that has the court systems. In our case, in York County, Rock Hill has courts, and based on their caseload and the high number of caseloads they have, they require a separate attorney just for their caseload. So the City of Rock Hill funds an 16th Circuit Public Defender for their caseloads, and then Fort Mill, Tigakay, York, and Clover, we all combine and share one. So each year we met in I believe the first one I met was in 2019, and they tried to come up with a way to how we fund this fairly. And so based on the number, what they typically do is take all four, and we pay $8,500 each for the base fee for the attorney. And then on top of that, whatever your 3-year average is for cases, and the percentage based on that is how they charge each individual municipality for that. We have historically been the lowest of the four, so we pay the least amount. And you can see by the graphs here, we are in blue. We pay a very small amount compared to the others. A lot of that has different factors. First and foremost, we're a good sized town, but compared to the others, we don't have the retail that some have. You see the City of Tigakay, I think the majority of theirs comes from the Walmart that they have in their city limits. But overall, we have a very small portion of this, and I will say a couple of years ago, the municipalities took a look together to find if there was a more economical way to fund an attorney for all of us. And based on that, based on the cost and the liability, finding someone that we truly could felt comfortable representing the town in a consistent manner as the York County Public Defenders do, we could not find a better solution than York County. I come to you this time of the year because the county is on a different fiscal year than we are. They are putting together and finalizing their budget now for a July 1 start time. So what the money that we're being asked to take part in this agreement would not be paid until the next fiscal budget year. So we would, by giving us permission to move forward this tonight means we would fund this in our next budget for next year.
So, go ahead. No, I was just going to say for clarity, because we didn't have these slides in our packet. In our packet, it talked about our caseload is only 1% of all of this, but yet we're fitting the bill for 11%. So technically, our portion is a much heavier percentage of the caseload than what others do because of the $8,500 that all are paying.
But you have to pay the base for the attorney, whether we paid it for hours alone or not.
Right, I'm just...
no, I'm just saying, though, it's screwy the way it's represented, because everybody pays equally to secure an attorney for that.
So out of that 8983,
Sorry.
our 8,500 is included in that number?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's in the package.
Yes, that's correct.
So that you couldn't, I think it's a great deal. And it's the percentage of the indigent and not the indigent cases they've done, not the number of cases altogether. So he's only been involved in the last 3 years, we've had to invoke that 11 times over the last 3 years.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So the base is just $8,500, regardless if you had 0 cases or not, you're gonna pay $8,500.
That's right.
Okay. And the 1%, the 483s, the 1% of cases added together to get to 89.
That's correct.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I think that's a deal.
That's not too bad a deal for our taxpayers.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Lisa, I don't feel like you fully got to ask your question because I jumped in. Do you want to
Okay.
complete your question?
No, ma'am, I'm good.
Questions over here?
Right.
No further questions. We have a motion on the table to approve in a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Thank you. All right. There are no information discussion items. Executive session. Please note, council may take action on executive session items listed on the agenda when they come back into public session. This executive session item is the receipt of legal advice relating to potential claims and ongoing legal matters. Do I have a motion to move into executive
I
Um,
session?
make a motion to move into executive session.
And do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. We will return. Thank you. Can I have a motion to go back into regular session?
I make a motion to go back into regular session.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Let the record reflect that no vote was taken in executive session. For this evening, we have just the round table. Ben, what you got? For the good of the whole.
Take a breath. Just the conversations and things from the Strawberry Festival. Looking forward to now we can shift gears and still concentrate a lot on our committee meetings and things. I think it feels like we're really moving the needle and making some great things happen. So again, I know we've said it several times already, but to the staff, just the incredible amount of work that it takes to the logistics of putting things into place and the planning and then breaking it down and putting it away, and just have a tremendous amount of respect for that. So thank you guys.
Alan?
Just piggyback on that, 2 weeks of events of awesome Strawberry Festival events, starting with the 5K to the scavenger hunt and everything, the dog contest. I mean, it was great. I mean, it was a week full of events, and Davey, Chris, I know you guys had a lot to do with that, and Jacana, and I thanked her 1,000 times for it, and just top notch.
Agreed. Lisa?
Be remiss if we didn't mention Mother's Day being yesterday. Not only to our mothers that gave birth to us and our children that make us mamas, but also the many mothers out there that are mothers to other people's kids. Take care of kids that aren't their responsibility. I know I have a village or a tribe or whatever you want to call it that help with all the children I have in my world. And I couldn't do it without the sisterhood that they bring and the stability they give us through the trying times. So thank you to all, and think about the ones who are missing their moms this year, or that have lost mothers because of COVID or other issues. So just putting that out there. Also appreciate, speaking of which, your mom cheering us on through the 5K. It was nice to see a friendly face along the path and cheering us on with her beautiful flowers. So just wanted to mention that. Also, it was interesting as I was watching the Catawba News, because the school puts out a video every morning of what they do. It's usually a quick 2 or 3 minutes. But they mentioned today that there are many seniors that today was their last Monday of public school. There are 3 weeks left of school, and most of them could have exempted out of exams. So as this chapter comes to an end, there'll definitely be new beginnings for them. So end of school is in sight. So be aware and welcome summer.
Absolutely. Ronnie?
I'm good.
Chris?
Which Chris?
You.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I went to Strawberry Festival. It was really good just to stand out on the stage and see all the people and just kind of like, man, we're kind of getting back to normal again. Good job, staff, on all that, putting that together. I know that's not an easy task, but it was really great. My kids loved it. It was kind of nice to kind of let them roam this year for the first time. Checked in on them. So, as piggyback on Lisa's comments, on Mother's Day, my mom almost lost her last year. She had a heart attack and survived, and so it was good to be with her. My siblings were all together yesterday for the first time in a while under the same roof, so it was good just to kind of catch up and be together, So that's about all I have.
Chris Wolf?
Yeah, it's always tough to be at the end after everything, but Strawberry Festival. There again, I would like to thank our vendors who participated in the Strawberry Festival. Without them, we couldn't have done it. The staff obviously did a great job, and appreciate all those that helped make that hard call on Thursday night. Those are tough. Thankfully, I wasn't involved in that one because I've had to make those calls, and no matter what you do, it's somebody's going to question it. And I will say there was a lot of supporting documentation. There was a lot of groundwork done to make that decision, so it was not made flippantly, but it was a process, and it obviously it came out to be the right decision. Also want to thank the police and the volunteers and the sheriff's department. I was talking to one of the sheriff's deputies on the way out at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, and was taking. He said, "I've been here since 6 o'clock this morning, directing traffic, standing out there in the heat and the rain showers." And I asked a couple of them, and I'd go by, "Do you need something to drink or whatever?" But those are the unsung heroes, and without all those people out there doing stuff, we couldn't have had the fun we did. So I really want to thank all of them for their participation, and thank citizens of Fort Mill for having a great time and celebrating our community
Safely.
safely.
Thank you, Chris.
That's it.
That's yours? Many of you might, or some of you might have noticed the green ribbons that you're seeing around town. It is Green Ribbon Week that began today, May 9th through May 13th, and we're participating with the National Association of Mental Health Piedmont Tri-County to promote mental health awareness. For the public to know that, we have those green ribbons, we're supporting those efforts, and I think it's kind of interesting. The national motto for this is "Let's Fight in the Open." That's the national theme for this Health Awareness Week, and it's something that we're all going to be touched by, particularly after the years of the pandemic. And we have a lot of stress and anxiety in our lives that I think only the great generation that's passed saw, when they knew the wars and the pandemics that we did not. This has been a very changing time and challenging time for all of us. So, I think that's wonderful. I have some little flyers here for the Dash of Green, which is Saturday, May 14th at CSD Community YMCA, Charlotte Highway and Clover. Starts at 9 to noon. So if you'd like to participate, I'll put these here. I would like to thank each of you. I certainly want to reiterate the thanks that all of us feel for staff and all of the people that participated, but I'd like to thank you for your air of camaraderie-ship. That's probably not even a word, but it feels good that we work together and collective in our efforts, and that we're working with one another, and I'm so grateful for that. That's that's really good to know that you're on a team that would pick you up if you fell down, and that would be there to block for you if you had to move forward. Those are important times, and they're what Chris Wolf and I and Ronnie and I grew up in this town. And Ben and all of us, it's what community is. Right. And I'm so grateful for the hard work and effort that you guys are putting forward. I know we stump our toe sometimes, and it hurts, but we get by, and I'm grateful for those of you that dust us off when we do. So thank you, and I'm glad each one of you had a mother to get you here so that we could do this together. So with that, I'll entertain an adjournment motion.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Second Saturday of service. That's this coming weekend.
It
so
is.
Come pick up some trash with us.
Thank you for mentioning that. That has been very effective. And Davey, could you call the county and ask them to please come cut the grass at Nims and Doby's again? It's high enough that it's hazardous to try to pull out, particularly now that we have a business across from that intersection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
the
just
new owners of the executive building not keeping their grass
no, they're
cut
not.
either.
No, they're not. So thank you for doing that. Oh, and could you call the Department of Transportation and ask them to pave Spratt Street, please?
I will absolutely do that
Steel
again
Street.
tomorrow.
We hadn't done that yet.
And what was that? And what was that number again? If you would like to call,
Can you ask him to 4-lane to bypass while you're on the phone?
Let's just get Spratt Street fixed. That would be
All right.
so it's what was the number again?
The phone number for the Sacramento Department of Transportation Maintenance Division is 327-6186.
We could put that at scrolling across the bottom of all our presentations.
To
So that was
Page Pratt Street,
803.
please call.
327-6186?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So if you want potholes fixed, that's who to call.
That's correct.
I'll make a note right here.
Tony, don't edit it out.
That's right.
And
Can I
Mayor,
have a
also,
motion for adjournment?
before Mayor, I'd
No.
also like to say, second Saturday service is Saturday, but also the kickoff for our market, farmer's market as well.
Yes, yes.
So, we have communications out for that, but it is, so everyone listening to this, come out Saturday and enjoy the farmer's market's kickoff for the 2022. It was a huge success in 2021, and we think it's going to be a bigger year this year.
What time
Great.
does it open on Saturday?
It begins at
Is it
8.
7 or 8?
I think it's 8 a.m.
8 o'clock.
It's early.
So after you have your coffee, it'll be there.
And they'll
No,
have
you get
coffee
coffee
there.
Get coffee there, that's right.
Yeah.
Also, class of '86, Fort Mill High School class reunion, Saturday night, Town Tavern.
I was in
Sorry,
first
I'm
grade
not
that
old
year.
enough to attend
You can
that
crash
one.
that far.
I'm old enough to chaperone.
I think it's time to move on now, or?
You might need one.
Okay, I've asked for a motion
I'll
3
make a
times.
motion
We'll
to
see if I can
adjourn.
get one.
I'll make that
Motion to
motion.
adjourn.
All right, second.
And I got a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Have a great evening.
Making motions.